Bitcoin has seen a continuation upward to 42,400, retesting the monthly Ichimoku Cloud baseline. The prior two times we have seen a close above the baseline have resulted in a bull run. Will this happen again? Let's go ahead and jump into the charts. Okay guys, welcome back to the channel. Thank you for tuning in. I hope you're all having a fantastic day today. Bitcoin has had a phenomenal week, breaking through the 38k, the 40k, and now retesting the 42.4k major resistance, which is represented as the baseline on the monthly chart. This particular level has provided resistance in the past, but also more importantly represents a trigger point for the initiation of the next bull run. Will we break through this level initially, or are we going to see a rejection? What are the short-term charts looking like, and how is the price action developing? These are questions we're answering in the video today. Before we do get into it, smash that like button, hit that comment button, and subscribe to the channel. We post daily videos on Bitcoin focusing on the facts, the data, the technical and structural information, and of course, the relevant economic events. No hype, no BS, no emotion, pure raw TA. If that is the kind of content you're interested in, join us on Telegram. It is the third link down below. You will get access to charts, updates, videos, analysis, educational posts, and so much more to keep you in the loop of cryptocurrency, Bitcoin, and the relevant economic news. If you are interested in trading, you can join our VIP group. We post trading setups with exact entries, exact targets, exact stop losses, trade justification, exclusive analysis, and so much more. If you're interested in getting access to this, including our group chats, our general chat, our trading chart and education chat, our news chat, our trade setup chat, our help chat, and our daily video chat with over 600 members, contact us in the pinned comment of the free channel for more information. Let's go ahead and dive into a video. Starting on the market data, how are we looking? 24-hour volume up 113%, sitting at a total of 170 billion. So a massive surge in volume as Bitcoin saw an explosive rally through that 38k level, retesting the 40k resistance, breaking through the 40k resistance and moving into that 42.4k range. A crazy move for Bitcoin. With that surge in movement, we see a surge in liquidations. Liquidations sitting at a total of 343 million, with 200 million in shorts and 140 million in long positions. So some crazy price action over the last 24 hours. Taking a look at the DXY. The DXY is bouncing here from this lower level of support. We discussed in yesterday's video, there are a few different scenarios that could play out over here. Primarily, we do have our base of support at 103. If we do lose this level, we are expecting a continuation down to 101, possibly 101.5. This would be overall bearish. If we do take a look at the price action over here, it does or is showing signs of potential reversals developing again from the support. We do have the momentum crossing over, signifying a positive momentum shift. We are bouncing from the support level. Again, if we do bounce, we could see a move up to the 50 EMA or potentially the 105 level, which is reflected as this low. Of course, even if we do see that the DXY would remain in a downtrend, provided it remains underneath this diagonal downtrending resistance. Only if this level breaks will the DXY continue upwards into our next level of resistance at 107. Of course, a continuation upwards will be relatively bearish for the markets, and a continuation downwards will be relatively bullish, generally speaking. Moving over to the S&P 500, with the DXY bouncing, we've actually seen the S&P 500 reject a little bit from this downtrending diagonal resistance. Of course, reflected as the high, the all-time high back in December 2021. July 2023 high. We've developed that trend line and of course now failed to break above it on our first weekly attempt. If we do close a weekly candle above this level, we could then expect a continuation upwards to retest 4,800. This diagonal trend line will remain valid as long as it exists, meaning even if we see a correction downwards over here and a breakout later on, this diagonal trend line is still going to be a key trigger point for a trend flip for the S&P. If we do lose this lower level of support at 4,500, we could then expect a correction lower to fill the gap on the VRPV and retest these local high points established back in 2022. Taking a look at the Dow Jones, it is looking a whole lot better over here than the S&P. We have found a little bit of resistance on this midline, which is reflected as these weekly close points on the prior all-time high, actually potentially going to retest this level. Rejection from this level would be not ideal, but it would not be catastrophic as we do have support from this diagonal trend line. A break through this level of resistance will result in a continuation higher. Of course, the 37k level, the 36.6, the 36.9k level are all acting as major levels of resistance. Breaking through will continue the price upward. Moving on from there, guys, let's go ahead and jump over to Bitcoin. Now, before we do, a quick word from Bitget and BingX, and we'll dive on right in. I wanted to briefly interrupt today's video to discuss the two exchanges we use on this channel, Bitget and BingX. So which exchange should you sign up to? If you look to the right hand side of the screen, you're going to see the list of differences in relation to KYC requirements and the countries these exchanges offer services to. The first link down below being the Bitget link and the second link down below being the BingX link. No matter which link you sign up to, you're going to get up to 15% discounts on your trading fees, up to $5,000 in trading rewards, and of course, you'll get access to every single MegaWhale exclusive bonus campaign we run on these exchanges. Alongside that, Bitget and BingX are incredibly similar. They are both ranked top 10 in terms of trading volume. They both have extensive liquidity pools and market pairs offering up to 125x leverage. And most importantly, they both offer protection funds for their users to protect you against any third-party hacks. So get started now and support the channel by clicking the links below. Thanks for listening. Okay, let's go ahead and jump into Bitcoin. So as we've said at the start of the video, there is a lot to discuss today. We're going to be talking about the short-term price action, exactly what is happening on the short term from a structural, but also today from a technical perspective. We're going to be taking a look at the higher time frame trends, next high time frame targets, and the probability that this continuation, this rally, will actually go upwards, or are we going to see a healthy correction? And finally, we're going to take a look at this chart over here, which reflects our Ichimoku cloud, particularly our baseline on the Ichimoku cloud, which in the past has acted as a major point of resistance, but also a major trigger point for the initiation of the next bull run. So some absolutely heavy stuff we're going to be talking about today. Let's go ahead and dive in. You know what? We'll start on this chart because it has massive significance. If we take a look at this chart over here, what we have is we have our Ichimoku cloud indicator. And we're going to go ahead and primarily focus on this red line. And this red line is called our baseline. It is our baseline of our Ichimoku cloud indicator. The baseline is currently sitting at a price point of around 42,400, 42,300. If we take a look at the price action currently for Bitcoin, we actually came up and retested that range, and the baseline is going to be around about where I draw this red line. So we can see we've come up, we've touched that baseline, and we are currently sitting underneath the baseline. So this is going to be our monthly chart over here. It is a little bit in delay. If we take a look at the baseline overall, we notice a few things. We notice our trend, and we notice it acting as a trigger / resistance point. So let's go ahead and define the trend. What we have generally is when we break above the baseline. By breaking above, I mean closing a monthly candle above the baseline. After being underneath it, we will remain above that baseline until we create a new all-time high. And only when we close below that baseline do we enter that bear run phase again, creating an all-time low. After creating the all-time low, when we break back above the baseline on the monthly chart and close a monthly candle above, That kicks off the bull run and we continue to an all-time high, and again repeating history, when we close a monthly candle below it, we end up moving to an all-time low. So we can see how the baseline acts as a trigger or a transitionary point between a macro uptrend, or what you would call the start or continuation of the bull run, and then the macro downtrend or the start of a capitulation event towards an all-time low. So it is a significant point on the chart that we've noticed that actually goes ahead and can help us define what phase of the cycle we are in, and more importantly, whether or not we can expect a continuation upward or whether or not we could expect potential continuations downwards, depending on, again, what phase of the cycle we are in. So that is how it reflects trend. If we take a look at the baseline, we can also see it as prior to this acted as a key level of resistance, primarily back in June 2019. We saw a rally from the lows to retest the baseline, only then to see a rejection and continuation lower until we broke above this level again. Now, there is a slight discrepancy this time around between the 2019 chart and the 2020-23 chart. The particular scenario we are discussing is going to be in the 2019 chart. When we retested the baseline, we also retested, if we take a look at the baseline, we also retested the dotted trend line in 2019. The dotted trend line is going to be reflected as a dead cat bounce high point from the baseline, okay, which is our base of support before the capitulation event on the monthly chart, reflected by this horizontal base of support. In this instance, the baseline is sitting well beneath the dotted trend line, which is going to be 48,000. Now, that tells me two things. Number one, there is still potential room to go upwards. And number two, we are likely going to see a break of the baseline because we need to retest that 48k level of resistance before we actually move into the next phase of the cycle. And of course, if we do take a look at that monthly chart, we can see every time we close a monthly candle above that dotted trend line, this instance over here, and of course, this instance over here, that is when we actually enter a traditional full-blown bull run, and that usually occurs within the bull market phase. So what am I trying to tell you? I'm trying to say Bitcoin is definitely looking bullish. Bitcoin, by all means, on a technical perspective, is looking fantastic. However, we are going a little fast in terms of the 4-year cycle theory. And of course, the 4-year cycle theory will end up breaking one day, and it will not remain true always. And what is more important than the 4-year cycle is our high time frame trigger points, our horizontal levels, our resistances, our liquidity ranges. The 4-year cycle is only a theory that tells us, based on date range trends, we are more likely to be in a bull run in this particular time range and a bear run in this particular time range. But if we do take a look at the 4-year cycle, excuse me, reflected as these red, gray, and green areas, red being bear market, gray being accumulation, and green being bull market, we can see we do usually break through that dotted trend line in the bull run phase and then entering a bull run. So that does tell us, according to prior cycles, we are not expecting a monthly candle close above 48,000 until after April 2024. That means two things. Number one, we could potentially see a rejection from the baseline or the 48k level. And number two, if we do retest 48k, we are not expecting an immediate monthly candle close above that level until after April 2024. So we do see an aggressive uptrend continue in the short term to retest 48k. We may see 2 months of downtrend before we break back above post April 2024. Of course, this is all speculation. This is all based on historical data. This is all based on what we have seen in the past. There is no guarantee that what we have seen in the past will play out. However, what we have seen in the past is currently playing out absolutely to the T. So that tells us we could potentially see it happen again, okay? So something to keep in mind. Let's go ahead, guys, and jump over to this chart. So this is going to be the high time frame chart marked out with the key levels. As we know already, and we've discussed in the last 2 videos, we've got the 32k level of resistance. The 32k level of resistance had utmost significance in terms of the macro trend. If we go back to this chart over here, the 32k level is actually marked out by this horizontal black line. The horizontal black line on the chart is the 32k level. You can see every single time we close a monthly candle above the horizontal black line, we end up seeing continuation to the dotted trend line. So we close a monthly candle above, we can expect a continuation to the dotted trend line. The dotted trend line is sitting at 48,000. That is why we've been saying ever since 30k, we expect a continuation upwards. So we're still expecting that. Moving back over to the short term, we can see we have the 38 to 40k level of resistance. This is a very, very crucial level as it marks the main and first level of resistance between 32k and 48k, 48k being the dotted trend line on the monthly chart, okay? The dotted trend line acting as the bull run trigger, meaning if we break above that level, we can expect the price action to enter a bull run, okay? Bitcoin to enter a bull run. So what does that mean, guys? We have seen, okay, 32k break, we entered a monthly uptrend. We have now seen a break over 38k to 40k and now continuing through into that baseline, potentially with the next target of 40,000. If we do take a look at this price action and say, well, have we established a support here? The 38 to 40k level has technically not been established as a support as we have not closed a weekly candle above it. If we take a look at the weekly candle, we closed about $25 shy of 40,000. So this level has technically not been flipped as a support. If we do close this weekly candle above, it will be flipping as a support. So we do expect a continuation up to 40k provided the 42.4 baseline can be broken. If we do see a break of 48,000, we can then expect the price to continue upwards, but that is another day. On the contrary, guys, if we do see a rejection from the 42,400 baseline, as we are now potentially seeing on the smaller time frame, and that rejection develops to a point of which the 38k level is lost, that will result in a continuation potentially down to 32,000. So although we are not quite out of the woods yet, we are definitely building some solid foundation and solid support for a continuation to 48k. Now, there is absolutely no reason to bet. We've been saying for months and months, guys. We've been bullish ever since 16.5k. Again, if you don't believe me, let's go and take a look. We'll show you in the chart right over here. We told everyone in our VIP, if you're looking to accumulate, this is back in June 2022. We're looking to buy these levels, 21 to 21.2, 20,000, 18,000, 16.5k was our lowest buy. We've been bullish since 16.5k. all the way back down over here, guys. We're saying 16.5k is going to be that bottom point we're looking for. We saw a continuation, we saw a monthly trend flip, we've seen the monthly uptrend develop, we've hit our first point of resistance, we expected a breakout, we saw a breakout, we are now sitting at a major point of resistance on the chart, and I would not be shocked to see a healthy correction from this point. If we clear the 42.4k level, I have absolutely no doubts we will see a continuation to retest that 48k range. So let's go ahead and talk about the short-term price action now, since we have developed a fair bit. If we take a look at the short-term price action, we did see our ascending triangle formation. The ascending triangle formation again was developing for quite some time between the uptrending support and the horizontal base resistance at 38,000. We saw a strong breakout upon the daily candle close above this level, which resulted in a continuation upwards, and actually we exceeded the expectation of this breakout by a couple percent. We thought we would go to around 41,600 according to the measured move breakout, but we saw a move just a little higher to around 42,400. That is going to be our baseline retest. Now let's go ahead and adjust these. So our bullish trigger, of course, we broke above that, we continued upwards, is now going to be acting as a bearish trigger, right? We are now above it. So that is the only thing that's changed in our short-term chart. If we break above, actually, that is a complete lie, guys. There's one more thing that's changed, which is going to be this level over here. This is going to be our baseline, okay? This is going to be a bullish trigger for a continuation upwards. So let's talk about this. If we break above this bullish trigger, we can then expect a continuation upwards. Where will we go within this range is very hard to say. I'd be expecting at least $46,000, okay? 46,000 US dollars. If we do reject from here, which potentially could be a case, because we do know 42.4 is a major level resistance. If I were to take shorts at any point in this, I would likely be taking shorts over here. I would personally look for shorts here with tight stop losses. That is what I'm going to do. I hit tight stop loss above, look for a correction under 40k, see for a retest. If we break that, of course, 40,000 is acting as a support now in the short term. So if we do lose 40,000, that is going to be a bearish trigger for a continuation down to retest the confluence point between 38k and the major uptrending support line. There's a little pocket right over here. If we do see a retest of this level, that will be a perfect opportunity for a bounce for Bitcoin. If we do lose that level, that is when it gets a little sketchy, right? If we lose 38k, that is when we lose this high time frame level. That is when the charts will start to look incredibly bearish again, and we will likely see a correction down initially to 35.9 to 36. If we lose this local low, okay, we lose this gap in the RPV, we will then see a slow and gradual climb downwards to retest around 33,350, and of course that will be a major point for a bounce. If we fail to bounce at 33,350, we would then see a catastrophic correction for Bitcoin, which would take us down to 30,600, and that would bleed the market aggressively. Now, do I think we're going to see this happen? I'm not going to say yes. I'm not going to say no. I'm a trader. I'm not a fortune teller. I trade the layers. I trade the trend. I trade the triggers. So as of right now, we're in an uptrend. That is all I really care about. We have potential directions. We have potential plans to execute based on what the market does. And simply, we will sit back, watch, observe, and execute the plans we have in place to profit no matter which way Bitcoin moves. And it's very important to understand that. If you have your blinkers on and you're saying, I'm only going to take longs, I'm not looking at shorts. So you're saying, I'm only bullish, I cannot be bearish, or I'm only bearish and I cannot be bullish, like a lot of people out there are, you blind yourself to 50% of the opportunity in the market at any particular time. You are doing no one a service. You are doing yourself a massive disservice. Remember, who cares if you were perceived to be correct on Twitter, on YouTube? I couldn't care less. What I care about is making money, and no matter what Bitcoin does, no matter what people think, we have been constantly non-stop profiting the entire year based on every single move, and that is what you should aim to be. Don't aim to be right, aim to make money. If you've had a plan and you've executed it, even if the plan was in your heart the least favorable scenario, you wanted Bitcoin to go up, but it went down anyway, and you took a short and you profited, guess what? You made money, you did great, you won. It doesn't matter what you think. Thanks for watching, guys. Hope you have a fantastic day, and I'll catch you guys in the next one. Cheers.